Hello guys, welcome back to another video. Today we are ranking all of the movies for November. Yes, in November, I actually saw 10 new movies in the movie theatre, cinema, whatever you want to call it. 10, and I have done reviews of all of them, bar one actually on the channel, which we will get to. But let's go, as always, starting from worst all the way up to best, summarising November's movies. Yes, so in at number 10, I actually gave that to Heretic. Heretic is the movie that stars Hugh Grant. I gave it a 2-star. I think I called the review Chaotic and Majestic equals Heretic. A tale of two halves. There was some really good stuff in there, but there's also some really bad stuff in there, in my opinion. I settled on a 2-star, and it basically is about these two girls that are knocking on doors and stuff like that, and so they work for like the church, and Hugh Grant invites them in, and he's got different opinions of various different religious beliefs and all that, and it's quite an interesting concept, but it didn't quite execute well for me. So as I say, I gave that a 2-star there. Next then in number 9 is a streaming movie review, and this is actually the only streaming movie of the month, and it is from Apple TV Plus. This is Blitz. It is a Steve McQueen movie starring Saoirse Ronan, and it basically follows, her and her son George, and basically doing the Blitz in London during the war and the struggles and all of that. I found like it was trying to do too much. There was too many different plot stuff going on, but an amazing sounding movie with a reference quality Dolby Atmos track, in my opinion, especially for a streaming movie. I think I compared it to Top Gun Maverick in terms of the experience in the room with the speakers. So a really good one there, and I very much enjoyed Blitz. Next then in at number 8, and this is the one big release of the month, well, one of, there's been quite a few in November actually, movies out in November in the UK, and that is Moana 2. I actually gave that a 3-star. Initially this was actually meant to be a TV show upon my research after watching it, and it definitely showed. I didn't say that in the review, but it does show that. I think I called the review something along the lines of Lin-Manuel was missing, and he really was. Without Lin-Manuel's songs, it just fell flat on its face, and it didn't work, and all the songs were really forgetful, and it all just felt ultimately forced, and like, we need to do a sequel because Moana is such a big IP for us, so we need to do another movie, and that's just how it felt. So I gave it a 3-star, but it's one of them. Very popular movie, Moana, on Disney Plus and whatnot, so it's obvious they were going to make it. Well, who would have thought that at the beginning of this month I would have said that this movie would have been above Moana 2, and that is in at number 7, Red 1. I gave Red 1 a 3.5 star. Now I think my enjoyment of this film was really good, and I think it pleasantly surprised me. Ultimately follows the story of The Rock, who is like Santa's secret agent or secret service kind of person, and Santa being J.K. Simmons, Lucy Liu in there as well, who is like the leader of like the CIA for all like these mystical creatures and whatnot. And then we get Chris Evans, who's playing this like codebreaker guy, and they're all trying to work together to try and find Santa, aka the Red One. Very fun movie, different spin on a Christmas movie, and the movie that literally started my my Christmas addiction for this year, so I thank it for that. But not a bad film, ultimately a really good family movie, and I enjoyed it. In at number 6, this is going to be very controversial. I mean, it has been in terms of my my review. This is Wicked. I actually gave Wicked a 3.5 star. Definitely not for me. It is one of the most overdramatic musicals. You've got Greatest Showman and all that, but certain musicals I find not to be overdramatic. Wicked has always fell in that category for me, whether or not it's the music, the stage show, the theatrics behind it. It is an amazing show, don't get me wrong, but it's just not for me, I actually heavily criticised Ariana Grande in this movie because I just thought she was playing herself. I didn't really see her be and evolve into anything else. Very subjective. Obviously, that's my opinion. That's what I thought. So I ultimately landed on a 3.5 star for Wicked. But Cynthia Erivo, though, was fantastic in the movie and exceptional. And I actually think she should be nominated for at least an Oscar for her performance as Elphaba. Top 5 there now, and this is the movie that I didn't actually do a video on. This is was the new Cillian Murphy movie. It's called Small Things Like These. I gave this a 4-star. I thought it was a very uplifting film, to be honest, with some sad themes in there, but amazing performances given the struggles of the time. He's basically a coal merchant, and he's trying to support his family, and he finds out some disturbing secrets about his local convent, and then uncovers the truth of them, and he doesn't know how to deal with those things, because he's well, they're all very much controlled by this Catholic church in this small Irish village. Very nice to see, Cillian Murphy obviously being in these amazing films like Oppenheimer and winning awards and all that. Nice to see him go back to his Irish roots and give back a little bit to the Irish film industry, and I think he did a fantastic job in that movie. That is Small Things Like These. Number 4 now, and I had 4 movies in this month that I rated 4.5 star. I don't think that's ever happened. It was just banger after banger after banger, and in at number 4 I gave it to Anora. This is a movie that is very, very creative, very, I guess it could even drive some controversy behind it, given the plot and all that. It's basically about this Russian billionaire who falls in love, ultimately marries this, adult entertainer, and, because they're married, she feels like she's entitled to everything. But it's a very fun film. Definitely will want to watch this again at some point. Thoroughly enjoyed it, and I gave it a 4.5 star. It's got that indie feel, very independent, very small movie-esque, directed, written, and edited by the same person, and that person is Sean Baker. And yeah, I thought it was brilliant. Number 3 then now, and this is probably the big budget one here in the UK anyways, Paddington in Peru, or basically Paddington 3. I gave Paddington in Peru a 4.5 star. I thought the story was really good. It kind of went back a little bit to the original roots of Paddington 1, and answering some questions from the first 2 movies, and ultimately watched the first 2 Paddington films as well this month. So I've watched all the Paddington movies and reviewed them on the channel, and Paddington 3 was really good and up there as a very worthy sequel, and I think it's one of the best trilogies ever made, Paddington, because when you think about it, every movie has just been a hit, and number 3, Paddington in Peru, follows suit there. Top 2 then now, and again another 4.5 star, and this is the new Ralph Fiennes movie that has come out very recently. I actually did the review yesterday and uploaded today. This is Conclave, and this is the Conclave is basically this thing where all these religious cardinals get together and they have to decide who the next pope is going to be, and this is what this film is about. It's basically Ralph Fiennes is the master of the Conclave, and he is basically trying to get these multiple different nationalities, opinions, cardinal people, all trying to elect the next pope after the previous one has just passed away. Very, very good film, directed by Edward Burgess. As I say, it stars Ralph Fiennes, Stanley Tucci, John Lithgow, and Isabella Rossellini. A fantastic film if you're very much into that. We've got some really good artistic directional moments, which I said in my reviews. If you're interested in knowing all of that, go back and watch that. But ultimately, I gave it a 4.5 star. And finally, my favourite movie of the month this month, and ultimately one of the biggest releases, again, Gladiator 2. This is the new Ridley Scott movie that is starring Paul Mescal, of course. This is the follow-up to the first Gladiator film, which again, I did watch this month, so it's been a very good one in terms of watching amazing films. It stars, as I say, Paul Mescal, Denzel Washington, Pedro Pascal, as well as Connie Nielsen coming back as a role. And I ultimately loved this because it just followed on from that first movie. It followed on, it gave us a lot of hope, a lot of inspiration, and I just ultimately loved it. I thought it was great, a good sequel, very much followed on, but it just doesn't hit the heights as the first one, in my opinion. It's not as good as the first one, but Gladiator 1, Gladiator 2 are fantastic, and I definitely will watch them back to back when I get Gladiator 2 in. So there it is. There's my top movies of November. Let me know your thoughts down below. Of course, December's going to be another jam-packed month of movies because we've got so much releases coming out with the Christmas holiday season and all that happening. So yeah, there's my ranking of the first 10 movies. As I say, all but one of these I actually did individual videos on, so if you're interested in knowing a little bit more about them, all the videos are on the channel there. But thanks for watching, guys. Stay tuned for more, and of course, please do subscribe if you like what you see. I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.